Good morning. Welcome to this Ventura County LAFCO meeting for Wednesday, September 18th. I would like to call the meeting to order and ask Commissioner Richards if he would lead us in the flag salute. All right. Can we get the roll call, please?
Excuse me. Commissioner Parvin,
Here.
Commissioner Richards,
Here.
Commissioner Rooney is absent, Commissioner Zaragoza,
Here.
Commissioner Crosswhite,
Here.
Commissioner Hassan.
All right, thank you. And that brings us to our agenda review. If no one has any issues, we will be moving items 18 through 21 and the commissioner comments before the closed session so that we can adjourn out of closed session. And if anyone, so that if any members of the public are interested in those items, they don't have to remain until after our closed session. That doesn't need a motion, right?
So move.
Okay.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Chair Crosswhite, I would like to bring to the commission's attention that we did receive a letter from the city manager of Santa Paula in support of the Santa Paula annexation, which is on the agenda today, and that was on the dais this morning.
All right, thank you. And that brings us to public comment. I don't have any general public comment. Have you received any others? Okay. Seeing none, we'll move on to consent calendar, items 7 through 11. Are there any items that anyone wants to consider separately?
No, but I move. that
I'll
we
second.
Accept it.
All right, moved by Commissioner Hassan, seconded by Commissioner Parvin. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Moving along. That brings us to our public hearing. And so we have our public hearing on LAFCO 20-06, City of Santa Paula Reorganization, Santa Paula West Business Park. And so I will open the public hearing and we'll take the staff report.
Good morning. This is item number 12, the reorganization for the City of Santa Paula for the Santa Paula West Business Park. The proposed reorganization is requested in order to accommodate the development of a business and industrial park west of the existing City of Santa Paula city limits, but within the city's sphere of influence just north of Highway 126. The proposal area is outlined in red on this map in context of the City of Santa Paula boundary. Components of the proposal include annexation to the City of Santa Paula, as well as detachments from the Gold Coast Transit District, Ventura County Resource Conservation District, and Ventura County Service Area number 32. And these are all districts that don't provide services within cities. The aerial photograph provides more detail as to the location of the proposal area. The proposal area is 64 acres and consists primarily of agricultural land currently being used to cultivate commercial agricultural crops. It includes portions of Telegraph Road to the north, Highway 126 to the south, and the Ventura County Transportation Commission's Santa Paula Branch Line Railroad running through the center. It is also bordered by Adams Barranca to the west, as well as Todd Lane and Beckwith Road to the east. Surrounding land includes urban residential communities to the north of Telegraph Road, commercial properties to the east within the city, and unincorporated agricultural land to the south and the west. The proposal area contains property owned by several landowners, including 2 separate private owners of the agricultural land where the development is proposed to occur, as well as the VCTC-owned railroad through the mill to remain as it is currently. It also includes public road right-of-way, Telegraph Road in the county road network, as well as state-owned Highway 126. The rights-of-way are included in the proposal consistent with LAFCO policy that provides for logical and efficient boundaries through annexation of contiguous rights-of-way to cities as part of city annexation proposals. The Santa Paula City Council approved development of the proposal area through its adoption of the Santa Paula West Business Park Specific Plan. The land use plan on the left depicts the general layout of the anticipated development, and the breakdown is that there's commercial and industrial areas. Those are shaded in beige and are about 37 acres. Open space and passive area shown in green and totals about 11 acres. The rail line in blue is 5 acres. And interior roads within the specific plan, as well as the roads on the exterior, constitute about 11 acres. The layout reflects changes in the specific plan that were adopted by the city in December of last year to address the Ventura County Watershed Protection District's flood concerns for the proposal area, contiguous areas, and Highway 126. The redesign accommodates additional open space buffer area and flood control infrastructure along Adams Barranca. The landscape plan on the right provides a representation of the anticipated building intensity, parking areas, and buffering, including landscaping from surrounding uses. If annexed to the city would provide municipal services to the proposal area, including water and wastewater services. The proposal area is anticipated to generate a demand of 26 acre-feet per year of potable water, as well as 36 acre-feet per year of non-potable water for landscape irrigation purposes, all of which would be provided as potable water initially until the city has installed the non-potable water infrastructure to serve that portion of the city. The city has demonstrated that it has the capacity to provide a full range of municipal services to the site, and that development would result in an annual surplus to the city's general fund. LAFCO's evaluation of the project includes consideration of impacts to prime agricultural land and agriculture. The staff report includes a thorough analysis of the factors listed here to justify the conversion of the existing agricultural land. Based on the information provided by the city, it appears that measures have been taken to limit impacts to surrounding agricultural land to the greatest extent feasible. When it adopted the Environmental Impact Report, or EIR, the city imposed a mitigation measure requiring that the developer secure or fund an agricultural conservation easement in perpetuity for 49.1 acres of agricultural land to partially offset the impact of the permanent loss of the agricultural land. As mentioned, an EIR was prepared for the Santa Paula West Business Park Specific Plan pursuant to CEQA, which evaluated a range of subject areas and concluded that there were several significant or potentially significant impacts that could not be reduced to less than significant levels despite the imposition of mitigation measures. These impacts include aesthetics, involving a change in the viewshed as a result of construction activities, agricultural resources, consisting of the conversion of agricultural land, air quality, including new emissions generated at the site, and transportation and traffic impacts to local streets. The City Council adopted a statement of overriding considerations to acknowledge these impacts and to determine that the benefits of the project outweigh the unavoidable adverse environmental impacts resulting from it. The City Council also adopted an addendum to the EIR to reflect the redesign of the drainage and flood control plan to address flood risk on the subject property and neighboring areas. Notice of the public hearing was provided as required in LAFCO law. Conducting authority proceedings or protest proceedings may be waived by the commission unless written opposition is received prior to the conclusion of commission proceedings. No comments other than the agency comments that were referenced in the staff report have been received to date. And in addition, there was the letter that came in from the city of Santa Paula yesterday. Staff recommends that the commission certify that it has reviewed and considered the information contained in the EIR and addendum prepared for and by the city as the lead agency pursuant to CEQA, and that it adopt the findings and mitigation measures in the EIR as addended, and also that it adopt the resolution making determinations and approving the reorganization for the city of Santa Paula. And that concludes my presentation. Let me know if you have any questions. We also have representation from the city and the developer here if there are questions specific to them.
I have a comment and some questions.
All right, Commissioner Hassan.
I have been involved in CEQA process from the very beginning, in the 70s. And many things have happened, so many changes, Andrea. And, but I totally forgot how big it has gotten. The information that was provided by the staff was 9.5 inches high. I like to write down on things. That's why I asked for the copy if they have any. They do. And fortunately, I didn't have much to read because there are executive summaries. Over the years, I learned what to look for. And it's very well done. Meridian did it, I believe. And, but I have some questions because remember the void that I haven't seen things. My question are more general type. What, Andrea, do they do when something is, after all these things, after public hearings, after city council and so on, there's still some items that are unmitigated. What do they do?
That's where the statement of overriding considerations comes in, where the city makes that determination that there just are impacts that can't be overcome and that the benefits of the project outweigh those issues. And they go ahead and they adopt the statement of overriding considerations. And there were 4 different subjects that fell into that category.
Okay, that's one. And then, of course, nowadays they have LID, low impact development. Who reviews that for a EIR? And how do they, is that a written something by cities or what does it, tell me a little bit about LID.
I don't know about LID, but I can tell you that the city is responsible for making sure that the proposed development is in compliance with their general plan, their zoning ordinances, and making sure that everything is in conformance with those different documents. And then our review involves ensuring that that is the case. So we work together in making sure that that is, that everything is being developed as spelled out in the specific plan and in conformance with the general plan.
Okay, so LID is something made public, there are people here, that people preparing EIRs, they know it ahead of time? Is that a general statement?
Can you,
All the requirements of LID are already set as a policy by the city, and it's available prior to preparation of documents?
I would have to defer to the city on those specifics.
Okay, I would like to know that. It's just, I'm very curious about the CEQA process. It's matured enough. Now something is happening I really don't know much. It doesn't have to be at this second. I'd like to know a little bit more about it.
I have a question.
Yeah, if the applicant and the team is, let's just go ahead and, if it's all right with you, deal with the questions as they come so they don't have to try to remember.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'll get your question.
That's fine.
Good morning. I'm Tony Locacciato with Meridian Consultants. We're the city's environmental review consultant and assisting with the planning and processing project. That's been one of the more fun areas of CEQA, and we've really got a separation between environmental review under CEQA and the regulatory environment. You probably know the regional water quality control boards implementing the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. So we have a NPDES permit, NPDES permit that applies to the entire county, one for construction, one for operation. Every city's adopted ordinances and regulations to be consistent with and implement those permits. And so that's handled that way throughout the county, and those standards are known. In this case, the city's project is a specific plan. There's also a tentative track map, so a subdivision map. And the reason for all that green you saw on the project was to provide enough area for catching water, cleaning it, and infiltrating it in accordance with those regulations. But it's one of the areas in terms of environmental impacts. By working hard together, we sort of regulate it away now. You have to meet the regulations, so it's pretty tough to design a project that would have a significant adverse water quality impact at this point. Hope
Thank
that
you.
helps.
Thank you.
Commissioner Richards?
Yes, thank you. I have two questions. Maybe, Andrew, you can answer the first question. On page 34, there's a reference to 563,187 square feet of floor area. Was that taken from the specific plan itself? Because that only amounts to about 13% of the total site.
That,
Seems light.
that was the amount that was, proposed to be developed. So there's the overall site area, and then that, based on the conditions and the limitations of the specific plan, that was the number that could be developed. That was the floor area.
All right, thank you. My second question may be more appropriate for the city representative to address. There is a requirement for mitigation for conservation district offset at 1-to-1. Is that offset going to occur within Ventura County? That's my question.
Commissioner Richards, the way the mitigation measure is worded that the city adopted, the preference is that it be within the city's planning area. And if they can't find a willing seller for a conservation easement within the planning area, then within Santa Clara River Valley or the remainder of the county.
Okay, was that stipulated somewhere?
It's in the mitigation measures as adopted by the city, trying to provide some flexibility to the owners to find a willing seller for a conservation easement.
Thank you.
Commissioner Parvin?
Thank you. My question is, it's interesting because we're still kind of following the ability to adapt to a 100-year flood when we had a 1,000-year flood not very long ago, close in my memory. But obviously, that's the legal amount, so I'm comfortable with that as long as that's what the government wants. My real question is the ag operation that's currently on the property going to be moved somewhere else, or is it just gone?
I believe it's just gone.
Do we know the reason? I mean, in an effort to save ag in our county, I must ask that question. Is there intent for them to maybe move to move to another location, or that it didn't fiscally work out for them and they're closing?
I think that's what the mitigation measure is for, to make sure that there's other land that will be preserved in perpetuity. But again, perhaps the developer can respond to that. I don't know if they have the answer to that.
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of the actual business itself, too. I mean, he covered the land portion, but I hate to lose another ag business.
Yeah, I don't have the answer to that.
Okay. I should have probably pre-called on that question.
Good morning. I represent, my name is Mike Penrod. I represent the development team, which is the Megalic Group, and then also Elon Bender. Both of us have the land being leased out right now, is not being farmed by the owners of the land.
Okay.
And the guys who are leasing it out are major operators of farms across the county. So let's just put it this way. Their crops that they're getting out there right now is not that big of a dollar value. And,
Okay.
and so it's not, it's not going to make that much of a difference in their overall business. So that's the reason why they've got plenty of other places they can go to.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Any other questions? All right, anything from the applicant that you want to add to the conversation? Seeing none. I have one public comment on this item from Andy Sobel.
Good morning, Commissioners. Andy Sobel. I'm a city council member for the city of Santa Paula, and I'm here on behalf of the mayor and the city council in support of this. And as mentioned, you received a letter. I'll just read the first paragraph. The Santa Paula City Council is proud to publicly support LAFCO staff recommendation to adopt Resolution 2006, making determinations and approving a reorganization of the city of Santa Paula for the annexation of the Santa Paula West Business Park. This important project will provide the city of Santa Paula with much-needed resources for our business retention, expansion, and attraction efforts to create additional employment opportunities for our community. And as mentioned in the letter, it's been our general plan now for 35 years. We've been discussing it for 10 years, so this is one of those forever going projects. So today, hopefully, is a very exciting day for us. And one, it's really important for Santa Paula because we are in dire need of industrial commercial space, but this will be a great addition to the entire county because the county is also in need of more commercial and industrial area to increase our employment base and our economic well-being. So I urge you today to support this. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, Councilmember, how many jobs do you project is that development going to bring? Because I know Santa Paula needs jobs and also a lot of retail industry, and so forth.
Right, and I believe the number is 135 that was listed, but
To start off with.
we're getting all sorts of different interests in there, so it's going to highly depend on what kind of entities move in there. So
That's good, when you're creating jobs, and I think it's
Yeah.
important for the community. And I have relatives that live in Santa Paula, and I know the chair is also Santa Paula, so,
looking for jobs.
good.
All right,
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioner.
Mayor Zaragoza, you have relatives all over this
All over
entire
the
county.
One city to the other. Thank you.
Yeah, just one question for staff. Can you remind me why, in the detachments, for example, from Gold Coast Transit District, why that doesn't require their sphere to be changed?
Because the spheres for those agencies are countywide, basically. So if there were if there was let's say there was an annexation that wouldn't otherwise need to go through the sphere process, it would add another layer. It's not really necessary to go through that.
All right, thank you. All right, with that, if there are no other questions from the commission, I will close the public hearing. And then we have any other deliberation or comments from the commission? Yes, Commissioner Richards.
I'd like to make a comment. We're talking about the loss of prime agricultural land within the county. I'm not entirely excited about the fact that we're looking at that much, almost 50 acres of prime agricultural land disappearing. I am encouraged by the fact that there is at least an effort to look at an offset. I think that's interesting. I'm not sure how it'll all play out, but at least there's an interest to look at an offset. I'm also encouraged by the fact that the city is staying within their curb limits that are identified. So I just want to make a comment about the fact that I'm not really excited about losing more prime agricultural land in the county. So, thank you.
Thank
Sure.
you. Commissioner Parvin?
I agree with you that the loss of the prime ag land is critical, but at the same time, I've seen this project kind of go through the process for a while, back and forth, and finally it's here. To me, I appreciate your city manager's comment about economic development and the job creation. I also believe it's an orderly development based on how much it's been reviewed. And the fact that there are no negative comments coming in from the public, so you've vetted those in Santa Paula, and so I'm very comfortable with moving forward with an approval.
Thank you. Any other comments? If not, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move staff's recommendation that we've reviewed CEQA and adopt the resolution.
I second it.
So motion by Parvin and second by Hassan. Any further discussion? All right. Let's take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Hassan,
Aye.
Commissioner Parvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Richards,
Yes.
Commissioner Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair Crosswhite.
Yes. So that passes unanimously. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work on this project that has gone on for a very long time. All right, that brings us to our 2024 Conflict of Interest Code.
Thank you, Chair Crosswhite. This is just the readoption of the Commission's Conflict of Interest Code. The Commission is required to review it every 2 years. Those are even number years, so 2024 is one of them. We are recommending no changes or updates to the existing conflict of interest, and the recommendation is that the Commission authorize the executive officer to sign the notice stating that no amendments are necessary, and let the clerk of the Board of Supervisors know.
Any questions from the commission? Not, I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Zaragoza, second by Hassan. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. And that brings us to item 14, contract for professional audit services.
Thank you again. And this is the contract with Eide Bailey, the independent auditing firm that typically audits the commission's financial statements. Commission policies do require that the financial statements be audited every year. So this contract does provide for that audit of the financial statements for last fiscal year. Then the recommendation is that the commission direct the chair to execute this agreement, not to exceed $14,000. The audit will begin in October and is anticipated to be completed in January. Thank you.
Any questions from the commission?
You know, I'll make a motion to approve because I know that LAFCO's always come out with a clean audit.
I second it.
Thank
All
you.
right, motion by Zaragoza, second by Commissioner Hassan. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously as well. That brings us to item number 15, appointment of the regular and alternate public members. I don't know if staff wants to add anything or if you want me to, okay. So our subcommittee of Commissioner Avila, myself, and Commissioner Parvin interviewed our candidates, and the committee's recommendation is that we appoint Jean Talmadge as the regular public member and Joseph Pachowski? Okay, Pachowski as the alternate public member, and Commissioner Parvin and I are here if the commission has any questions for us.
No.
Seeing none? No.
No.
I
I would
would,
like to make a comment, though.
yes.
Since the close of the application process, a number of people have wanted to apply, and they missed it. And so I don't know how we can maybe advertise it more differently next time, but just something to remember.
Any other
Nope.
comments? All right, would someone like to make a motion?
I'll move our recommendation.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? I guess I think those were all ayes, so that passes unanimously. And, oh yeah, that's right, I guess with one abstention of Commissioner Richards, who wouldn't be voting on his replacement.
Who's done an outstanding
Yes.
job for us.
Yes, and you're not going away quite yet.
No, we're not done with you yet.
And then we need to take action on item number 16 for the attendance of alternate commissioners at closed session.
And that's just an action by the commission. Sorry, that's just an action by the commission to approve that.
So do we have, anyone want to make a motion to approve that?
I'll move approval.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Are you
Didn't want me to
abstaining?
vote on that, did you? I mean, I'm part of it. I'll say aye.
Okay. All right, I think that ended up being a unanimous. But I was like, wait, I missed hearing a voice over there, so I just wanted to make sure that you weren't abstaining. And then we're skipping 16, so then correspondence received?
And that's just a receive and file item?
Do we have a motion to receive and file?
Do we need a
Moved.
motion for?
So moved.
So, second.
It's cleaner.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then that brings us to Executive Director's report.
Yeah, nothing much to add beyond the staff report that's there about future, or anticipated future items coming before the commission. I did want to remind the commission that staff will be attending the October CalAFCO workshop up in Northern California. So that's the week of the 16th. It was conflicting with the commission's October meeting, but because that's been canceled, there's no longer a conflict. So we'll report back then. And then I will be on vacation for 3 weeks, starting later this month until October 10th. So Andrea and Rochelle will be available if needed.
So, Madam Chair, so there's no October meeting?
There's no October meeting, correct?
No, I believe we canceled that on our consent calendar.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, any further questions for Mr. Luoma? Commissioner Richards?
Is the status of Senate Bill 1209 still just pending, or is it on the governor's desk?
It's still on the governor's desk. Yes, and that's a really important bill. For forever, LAFCOs have assumed they had the authority to require indemnification from applicants. And due to a court case out of San Luis Obispo, Court of Appeals determined that there's no authority in LAFCO law that allows LAFCOs to do this. So it was a really important effort on Cal LAFCO to get that indemnification put into the law, and that's what this does. So yeah, it was approved by the legislature and is awaiting, hopefully, the governor's signature.
All right, so if there's no other questions for the Executive Director, we can receive and file his report.
So move.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Brings us to the letter to Governor Newsom requesting his signature on said SB 1209.
And that's what I just spoke to. Yeah.
Any other questions?
No.
If not, I would take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then that brings us to item 21. It's just a receive and file.
Right, and that's just informative. LAFCO law does require that any applications we receive be placed on the agenda just for informational only. There's no need to take any actions on that.
Okay, so we don't need to, you're just letting us know.
Yes.
Okay. All right. In which case, any commissioner comments before we recess into closed session?
Nope. Nope.
Okay. All right, with that then, we will recess into closed session. And the expectation is that we would adjourn from closed session, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I was looking at the attorney just to make sure that there wasn't anything else he wanted us to do when we were done.
No, that's correct. Yeah, that's my expectation. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Then we will recess into closed session. And our next regular meeting is not scheduled then until November.